Hello everyone, I'm Bob Guth, the host of this website, and I want to talk today about the basics of life extension. The idea of living 200 years just smacks of the idea we have to extend our lives way beyond what humans live today. And so what are some of the basics of life extension? Well, number one really is you have to intend that you're going to do it. You have to make a determination. Some people call it a decree. You need to decree that you are going to extend your life. But to do that, you must believe that it's possible. And this is one of the issues that we'll have to deal with. Today, it's not supported. Nobody lives a great long life of 140 years. But we're going to. So you have to basically believe that you're going to be one of those who are going to be in the forefront of doing this. That you believe that you can do it. It's possible for you, regardless of what the rest of the population experiences. Then you might have to believe you deserve it. A lot of people have a deservability issue. When you use the word I hope or I wish instead of I'm going to, that's a deservability thing. You have to deserve, you believe, to live a long life. And why not? And then you must know, you must come to what's called an expectation. You must know what's going to happen. You know the basic things in your life are going to happen, like we're going to have something to eat today. You just have a knowing of that. So the same thing with this idea of life extension. In the future, when it happens, and young kids are born and they look around them and they say, oh, everybody lives to be 140, then you'll have a knowing that that's going to happen for you too. But this is in the forefront. You're going to have to develop that knowing based on your drive to do it. And one of the best tools that I know of to do this is what I would call the idea of creating being a fanatic about it. Fanatics make whatever they're fanatical about happen. But don't shout it out to the world because they'll put you down. Be internally fanatic that you're going to extend your life. That's how you do it anyway. And then what's needed here, I would say the second most important thing is healing. A deep, 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 profound healing. And here, this is beyond what people really expect in this idea. It gets into traumas that happened early in your childhood. It gets into ideas, I'm going to say, past life traumas that you may not even be aware of. All of these things have to do with your body and how it keeps its health or not. And I used to think that there are some diseases that had no cure, like ALS, the disease that took that physicist's life about 2 years ago. Anyway, there is a cure for it. I got curious about it and asked a question and found that those who work with the primal diet are able to control ALS, even if Stephen Hawking didn't control it, and it got worse and worse in his case. Okay, then you need to heal your death urge. And the death hormone, believe it or not, there is a hormone that kicks into gear when you reach about 35. It's called the death hormone. And we'll learn how to halt this hormone as we go along. But anyway, healing your death urge has to do with making life as fun as you can. If you like to go to plays, movies, shows, the opera like I do it. Do whatever, your joy is to keep from feeling, this is getting to be too rough, I don't want to hang around, I want out. Well, that's a death urge. So you have to heal this death urge. Now, what are the practices? Well, keeping your body healthy, of course, is one of them. And exercise is one of the practices, and fitness, but you can not overdo it. I did myself and got some injuries, so I only exercise 4 times a week now, and that's about right for me. But it does help. It really does help. Meditation and concentration. People have cured very serious, even life-threatening diseases with meditation and concentration. And these are part of the evolving human. And so getting into meditation and concentration are important. We will talk about this more later. Evolving into a higher consciousness. I can't say enough about this because that is really where it's at. The future human will have a higher consciousness and will have a longer lifespan. And so what are some of the traits of higher consciousness? Well, cultivating compassion. Compassion is so great that when you see something that grabs you by the soul, you start to cry. Tears flow. That's the compassion I'm talking about. This is part of longevity. There's more to say about this. It can be a double-edged sword, but needs to be really looked at deeply. Living in your heart center is important too. That's a part of compassion, really. That means that you're in your heart with every situation that arises, and you don't jump into what we'll call overreaction or violence, that sort of thing. Increasing your DNA efficiency, that's really part of higher consciousness, but this is a very major part, because when you increase your DNA efficiency, you automatically jump into a longer life. Assuming that you want longer life. But increasing your DNA efficiency is one of the triggers and keys to doing this. And we'll talk about that later too. Retrieving lost soul fragments. Most people don't know what that is, but it's very important, because when you can do this, it'll stop your organs from regenerating. You might have heard stories about children being bullied by older bullies who, after being severely bullied, commit suicide. What's going on there? What actually happens is that they've lost a large part of their soul essence. And when that happens, the body simply doesn't want to continue. So it's very important to retrieve lost soul fragments, and we'll do some of that later on. Some of the practices of higher consciousness are shimmering, bilocation, and fifth dimensional healing, and rejuvenation. And we'll bring some of those subjects up in later videos. Organ reconstruction and rejuvenation. You can do this in your fifth dimensional practices, and that's the part of it. Enhanced sexuality and kundalini rejuvenation. One of the things about our culture now is that sexuality has been quite repressed compared to other more evolved cultures around the worlds out there. But anyway, enhanced sexuality can increase your longevity. It stimulates the secretion of hormones of youth. And Kundalini rejuvenation, there's an energy called Kundalini energy that when you begin to work with it, you can use this energy flow to revitalize yourself. So we'll talk about that later too. Fasting mastery. The masters of ancient times in the Chinese communities and elsewhere have used fasting to get rid of the old dead sentient cells. And then when that happens, they're rebuilding after you begin eating again, brings in new cells, fresh cells. And I've done a 4-week fast year before last, and this year I did a 5-week fast, and I can tell you can do it. And you get major benefits from it. Not everybody's going to be interested in doing this. It is recommended, though, to fast 1 day a week, and it is recommended to make some diet changes. I forgot to put diet here, but we'll look at diet later on, and you'll need to make some diet changes. Breathwork mastery has always been part of longevity and immortality training. And there's a number of different practices and approaches and styles that people do, and we'll talk about that later too. The goals, you want to know that it's important to know that your potential natural lifespan is much longer than people think it is. You can live, you have the potential to live to 140 to 150 years. I've been hearing this over and over and over again. And there are cases where the 140-year-olds, 150-year-olds have been documented. And not only that, it's kind of interesting to me that Wikipedia is coming up with articles now on people who are over 100, and there's over 100 people, women, who are over 110 right now on the planet. Over 100 women who are over 110. And a number of men who are over 110 also. So they're out there, you know, I mean, there is a potential, but your natural potential is 147 to 150 to 140 to 150 years. And to really do this, you need to redefine your life's purpose and goals. Every 12 years, you want to say, well, you know, I've done whatever it was for the last 12 years. Now I'm going to do something different. You don't want to retire into nothing, you know, and play, because then your soul's going to say, well, he's through with his life, you know. You want to redefine yourself. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. The planet needs your help. So redefine your life's purpose every 12 years. And also, I don't usually say this, but I'm saying that you need to be financially secure to be able to look at and take advantage of some of the rejuvenation technology. It's not just the internal science, what we're talking about here, but there's external sciences that are coming on board. The stem cells are in their infancy, believe it or not. And there's actually one guy I know who's doing a blood type injection with great results, GDF11, and that's one thing I would be interested in for today's technology. The many, many more technology advances are going to come about to help people live longer. So all these are things to think of. This is sort of a basic introduction to the basics of life extension.